Hi everyone, this is Darcy. I am doing a live training today all about going live on social media. It looks like nobody's on just yet. I'll wait just a second here to see if anybody hops right on. I am just like a minute late. That seems to be my thing lately. Hi Princella, thanks for coming on. Okay, I'll go ahead and get started. As you come on, feel free to say hi. And also, as I'm going through the training, hi Carol. As I'm going through the training, if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask me. I do these on my phone actually right now, but I can see the comments and stuff, so feel free to ask any questions as we go. But basically, I just wanted to talk today to you guys about going live on social media. It's nothing that I'm an expert at by any means, but I have been trying to do it a little bit more often lately, and I have learned some things along the way, and I know it's something that a lot of people are kind of afraid to do, and it's really important for your business page, for your group. It really helps boost you in the algorithm. It helps you build connection with your audience. So I just wanted to talk today about some of the things I've learned. Hi Linda. Hey guys. So I just wanted to talk about some of the things I've learned about going live on social media here in the last few months, in case it might help someone who's having some trouble. So as I mentioned, going live really helps you build a connection with your audience. It lets you talk to them real time, like you guys are saying hello to me and things as you come in. So that's kind of nice. It lets you be more interactive than, if you just post a static post or if you do a pre-recorded video. So it really helps you connect with the people that you're wanting to connect to. One example that I thought of as I was preparing my notes for today was just a couple of weeks ago when Facebook launched the Facebook Stores feature. Mark Zuckerberg himself went live about it to tell us about it. So I don't know those of you who saw it, but Mark Zuckerberg has plenty of money, as we all know, and he has, I'm sure, tons of employees. And he could have said just to one of his employees, hey, can you go live and tell everybody about Facebook Stores today for me? And they would have done it. But a lot more people watched the video because it was Mark Zuckerberg. I watched it. So just kind of think about that in your business. You can, hi Marie. You can have all the money you want and you can hire as many people as you want to help you, but people want to see you at some point. So going live is important for anybody, regardless who you are, even if you're Mark Zuckerberg. So I guess that kind of leads me into facing your fears about going live. So, guys, I still get nervous. I actually don't go live all that much, and I schedule these as events because that way I can't put them off. I don't schedule them as events for any reason really other than that. Because, I can't exactly come on here at 12:30 because I got cold feet and say, oh guys, I guess I'm not going to do this today. I scheduled it and I told you guys I would be here, and so I'm here. And so if you're afraid of doing it, I would suggest scheduling it, because then you can't put it off. And also because we get busy, and if it's scheduled, I talk about scheduling content and things too. I mean, if it's scheduled, you're less likely to put it off or not make time for it. So that would be my first, I guess, words of advice, is to just schedule it and just do it. A few other things is I posted earlier in the week about how I used to be terrified of public speaking, and I actually joined a local Toastmasters group several years ago and went to Toastmasters and practiced public speaking and watched other people practice public speaking, and over time it just kind of gets better. We learn a lot about filler words, which I'm still pretty bad about saying. I'm trying to do better at that. Words like and, so, but, like, if somebody says those consistently while you're watching them live, their message tends to kind of get lost because you get distracted by those filler words. So that's something that you want to try to work on. If you do have a lot of those words in your speech, you want to try to work on that so you don't distract your people that are listening. It's also an option for you if you're nervous about going live to practice with a friend. There's ways that you can You guys could do a Zoom. You could get in a Zoom call with your friend and just practice like seeing yourself on the screen and talking to each other in that format. Someone told me once that, they just feel weird going live because they feel like they're talking to themselves. And I get that, because sometimes, like once in a while, I'll do a live and I won't have any live viewers. And it does kind of feel like you're talking to yourself, but you just have to remind yourself that, people are going to watch the replay. People are there with you, and so I think practicing in a Zoom type format might help, because then you see the other person on the screen. And another thing that might help is doing a live with someone else. So, I see in a lot of groups I'm in, people will have guest speakers on and they'll do it like an interview format. I'm actually doing one in someone's group in a couple of weeks. So, having someone else live on the screen with you might help. It takes a little bit of the pressure off, and it gives somebody else, it gives your audience somebody to look at besides just you. So that might be something that might help you. And I would just say, be yourself and start out small. Start with lives that are 1 minute long or 2 minutes long until you get comfortable. Maybe start at a time when you don't think your viewers are on very much. Maybe do one at 9 o'clock in the morning, or 9 o'clock at night, or whatever. That way, you'll get on there without a whole lot of audience to make you nervous, and then they can still watch the replay. So start small if you have to. Be yourself, and then I would just finally, as far as this section goes, I would just say that the more you do it, the easier it gets. So, you'll be really, really nervous the first time. Just keep doing it, and it gets better. It gets easier. So the next section I wanted to talk about is what to talk about. So, that's harder for some people than others. I put a post in the group yesterday inviting you guys to share ideas for what you could go live about for your business. And if you're not sure, if you're having trouble with that, if you say, gosh, I've really been wanting to go live, but I just don't know what to talk about. I don't think people care about what I have to say. What if nobody listens? Whatever. So feel free to come in that thread and share with us if you're having trouble with ideas, and we can brainstorm together. But I would just think about who your audience is and what your business is and what service you provide to your customers and how you can help them. My husband, I'm just going to use my husband as an example. He makes handmade fishing lures, and he's kind of got this hang up about he only wants to post after he goes fishing and catches fish, because he doesn't think anybody that's following his page cares unless he's got a picture of this fish he caught with his lure. And I keep telling him that we need to post more often, and he's like, well, what should we post? And he makes them in like 20 colors. And so I said, well, why don't we post once a week? I said, you give me the write-up of like what conditions each color works in, and where it would be best to use this color or that color or whatever, and I can turn them into content, and we can do like a lure of the week. I told him we can share news articles about people catching record fish. We can do all kinds of things. We could share customer reviews from his Etsy shop. And so I guess those are all static posts I'm talking about, but as far as videos go, he's talked about how we could do videos of him showing people how to do a fishing knot. Last summer we did a video of him cleaning a fish. It's a fish that people kind of struggle to clean, and so he did like a tutorial of how to clean the fish. And so, I think no matter what you do for your business, there are things that you can talk about. Over on my lifestyle blog, I talk about, I do a series called What's in Your Fridge, where we just talk about things to use in the kitchen, whether it's from your fridge or your pantry or whatever, and I try to keep them under 10 minutes, and I do them every other week, and just kind of share kitchen tips. So I would just encourage you to think about what you do and what you know and how you can help your audience, and the ideas will kind of come to you, I think, after that. Don't overthink it. If you have to just go on for a minute or two and show your face and tell everybody hi, that's fine. Just do it. So that's what I would say about that. And I would also encourage you, when you are live, to try to engage with your audience as much as you can. Say hello to them as you see them come on, encourage them to leave comments, encourage them to ask questions, maybe ask questions along the way, to try to get them to leave comments for you. just to make it more interactive. Okay, so that brings me to my next section. How long should it be? There's a lot of opinions about this. I was trying to do some research this morning because I have my own opinions, but I was trying to see what the research said for you guys, and it really seems to vary, honestly. Some people say it should be 10 minutes. Some people say 10 minutes is too long. A lot of people recommend between 3 and 5 minutes. I think if you're, depending on what you're doing, that might not be long enough. Most of mine over on my lifestyle blog, when I, like the grocery thing I was talking about, most of mine end up being about 10 minutes over there. These trainings like this, they usually end up being like 20 to 25 minutes depending on how many questions we have. So I think 10 minutes is a good starting point to say, I'm going to start going live on a regular basis on my page. I'm going to try to talk for 10 minutes to my audience. If you only talk for 5, don't sweat it. If you only say hi for 2 minutes, it's fine. But, you know, kind of figure out how long you're comfortable talking and, you know, realize that most people aren't going to watch you for 30 minutes. But the way the Facebook algorithm works is, you know, they track stats, and even if somebody watches you for 2 minutes or 10 seconds or whatever, it's tracking those people to say that they're interested in what you're having to say. So even if somebody watches your video for 5 seconds, Facebook counts it as they stop scrolling, basically. So don't stress about the length too much. It's more important, I think, to just do it. And you don't want them to be too long, honestly. That's my opinion anyway. If I see a video that's like over 30 minutes, I probably won't even really watch it, actually. But you know, that might just be me too. It depends on what you're doing. If you're doing a really valuable training or something for someone that has a lot of good information and it's over 30 minutes, you know, people will watch it. So again, there, it just depends on what you're talking about and who your audience is, I think. The next thing I wanted to mention is location, lighting, background. These are things that I'm still working on. I'm actually in my front porch today. It's a nice sunny day outside, and there's lots of windows in here. So you can see I'm in the natural light, but behind me I have we have the corners of our porch are blocked out, so it's just a white wall behind me, and then there's windows all around to either side. So that's kind of what you want. You want to have natural light on your face, illuminating you or whatever, so you know, so people can see you. You don't want to be all dark. So you want to have natural light, but you don't want to be in the natural light. Like if I move like this, you can see it like washes out my face a little bit. You can't really see what's going on behind me that much. It's just not as good. And like if I was closer to the window, you can see it's even worse. So you kind of just want the light to be there, but you don't want to be right in front of it. When it comes to artificial light, that gets a little harder to do, and that's something I haven't really mastered yet. I do have a ring light. I'll show you guys. I have just a small one right now that clips on my phone. So I just clip this on my phone. It works pretty well if I'm in a darker room without natural light, or if I'm doing something at night, because it helps light my face up so I'm not a dark shadow. There's a lot better lights out there that you can buy too. Some people have really good setups. I actually have been seeing a lot of the people on the news doing the interviews from coronavirus, and I always check out their lighting and their background. And the best one I've seen is the Michigan governor. If she wasn't so busy, I would actually like to just message her office and ask what she's using at home, because I don't know if you guys know who I'm talking about at all. I've seen a few interviews that she did, and her setup's amazing. Her background's really pretty. She's in like an office or a library or something in her house, and the lighting is just amazing. It's like gold light instead of white light, which, you know, it's just really good. So, you know, you want that lighting. You want to have a setup where people watch your video and say, wow, she has a really nice setup, or, you know, that video looks really good. Always room for improvement there. I mean, mine's not perfect, but just a few tips to keep in mind. And as far as the background goes, I actually recently bought a photo, it's like a photo background thing that you can hang curtains on. It just came the other day and I haven't set it up yet, so I'm just in front of this white wall with a couple of pictures hanging behind me. But I'm gonna get some just plain colored curtains to hang up on the backdrop, and so that'll let me switch them out from time to time, so it's not the same same background every time. And the goal kind of is for your background to be plain. You don't want the background to be really distracting. So people are, looking all over at your background instead of focusing on what you're saying. But you don't want it to be cluttered either. You don't want to have a whole bunch of stuff behind you. If you have a room that's really messy, I'm actually looking at a yard sale pile in the corner over here to my right, but I'm not sitting in front of it, so you can't see it. So as far as you see, my porch is really clean and there's no stuff sitting around. And that's what you want. You don't want people to see your stuff that's not, clean and neat. So, I've seen plants in the background that look really nice. Some people use twinkle lights. So just kind of keep in mind what background you're using, because it can make a difference. If anybody has any questions, feel free to speak up and ask them. One other thing in the location section is distractions and making sure your distractions are removed. In my office, I actually don't have a full door, so I can't fully shut my dogs out, and I have 2 dogs. I was actually doing an interview with someone a couple of months ago, and this is so embarrassing. I was in my office because at the time it was like the best place I had for lighting, because it was like late at night that we were doing it. And I had taken the dogs out right before it started, and so we got started, and luckily it's a pre-recorded thing. We weren't doing it live, but I swear like 2 minutes into it, my dogs both came behind me to go outside to the door, and I couldn't get up in the middle of my interview and go let them out. And so throughout the whole video, they're back there in the door, and you can see them in the video, and they're back there wanting to go out, and I was so distracted. And the girl that was interviewing me kept saying that it was fine, I think it's cute, it's no big deal. And I was so upset that she actually let me do it over. So I felt so bad because she wasted her time doing it a second time because I didn't have the right setup, basically. So since then, I just don't do lives in my office or interviews in my office. I do them in the front porch, or I actually have another setup upstairs in my house that has doors so I can shut. So just keep that in mind. Whatever your distractions in your house might be, try to get them out of the video, so that doesn't happen to you. That's not going to happen to me again. I know that. So lesson learned. So the next thing I wanted to talk about is why live versus pre-recorded. I know a lot of people are more comfortable doing pre-recorded videos, and I used to do videos that I would pre-record, and it was fine. You do get a lot of views on them, and it does help your engagement on your page and your algorithm standing and all of that. But people really want to see you live. For the reasons I talked about in the beginning, it gives people that live connection. I just saw a couple of hearts and likes come up on the screen as I was talking. So I think it's also easier, as the person talking, it's easier knowing that you guys are there watching me, that you're there with me, than it is to just pre-record it and upload it later. The reason I used to upload it later, I pre-recorded it, is because I wanted to be able to upload it to different places. And then I learned that you can actually go live and still upload it in other places. So usually when I go live on Facebook. And once it's uploaded to your page or your group, there's a way to go in and download it. And then you can go upload it to YouTube or Instagram or wherever you want. So if that's the reason you're doing pre-recorded, you don't have to. You can download the live after it's posted and use it other places, which is really nice. And if you're afraid of messing up, if you do a pre-recorded version because you don't want to mess up, or you want to make sure it's perfect or whatever, I would say just don't worry about it. Just go live and show people who you are and what you're doing. And if you mess up, it's fine. Nobody really cares, honestly. And the other problem with pre-recording is that it can make you seem too rehearsed. Back when I did do the pre-recorded ones, I would always try to do no more than 1 take or 2 takes. If I had to stop the video because of my dogs or whatever, or I got distracted or I lost my train of thought, if I had to stop the video, I would only try to start it a second time, because if you do it too many times, it's going to seem rehearsed, and you don't want that either. So those are my tips on why you don't want to do pre-recorded as much as you want to do live. And then the last section I had was just to talk about posting to various places, which I already mentioned. But you can also go live in more than one place at once. So this is actually something I haven't done, but you can. If you use a streaming software like StreamYard, there's ways in there that you can go live on Facebook and YouTube at the same time. I don't have a lot more to say about that because, like I said, I haven't done it personally, but I know it's possible. So if you can't decide where you want to go live, you know, I don't know if it'd be better on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, you might check into that because you can go live in more than one place at once. TikTok is new. TikTok lets you go live if you have more than 1,000 followers. I haven't really gotten into TikTok yet. I don't know if any of you have. If you have, let me know. I'm trying to learn more about it, but I just haven't gotten there yet. Does anybody have any questions about anything? I did want to mention too, as far as practicing goes, if it is something you're trying to learn more about, and I realize some people watching this go live all the time and you're awesome at it, and you know, you don't really need practice, but you know, hopefully there was still something I said that was helpful for you. But if you are a person that needs practice and you don't, you know, you're scared to start and you're scared to hit live and whatever, I do have another private group that I set up that I'm the only one in it. And if you need someone to help you practice, we can set you up with temporary access to the group, and I could either help you with it or just give you access to the group if you want to go in and mess around with it by yourself. I did start that just as a practice group for things. Sometimes Facebook changes things, and it's nice to test it out before you do it for real. So that is something that I have that I'm offered to share with you. So, trying to think if there's anything else. I would say just if you're trying to get into going live, just do it. That's my advice. The more you do it, the more you'll get comfortable with it, and the easier it'll get, and the better you'll do. And if I can help you with anything in that process, I'm happy to do so. So if you think of any questions after we're done here, feel free to ask in the comments. Thanks so much for tuning in, you guys. I'm glad you were here. Have a good day.